Hello, my name is Nick Dykstra, and the following presentation will be a case study that will briefly examine the health and environmental complications that are associated with the ongoing Bangladesh water crisis. The water crisis in Bangladesh can be characterized by a number of challenges. Just to name a few, the Bangladeshi people have had to endure an environment where people are forced to move around due to flood-prone lands. There is widespread pollution, which is partially due to the use of pesticides, and also fishing areas are known to be heavily polluted. Also, there is a naturally formed presence of arsenic that finds its way into the country's water supply. Add this then to an environment of an exploding population, and it is no wonder why Bangladesh has suffered under dangerous water conditions. Working our way back through their history, we find that population is at the heart of this crisis for a couple of reasons. First, with an area that is approximately the size of Montana, Bangladesh is wildly overpopulated, as their total population is nearing 160 million, which this is about half the current population of the United States. So with so many people in this area, many are forced into low-lying areas that experience heavy flooding during the monsoons of the warmer season. However, the entire country faces water concerns during the cooler, dry season, when the Bangladeshi people are forced to resort to their groundwater. Extreme instances of the population's impact on the groundwater supply have occurred in cities like Dhaka, where a growing population of over 15 million people have caused the water table to fall by over 200 feet during the past 50 years. Adding to the complexity of the situation is the fact that the groundwater in the Dhaka area is poisoned with arsenic. However, the presence of arsenic in the groundwater isn't only a concern for the people of Dhaka, as the great majority of people in Bangladesh get their water from this source. It just becomes more problematic for those who are unable to pull water from a deep enough source. Because of these problems, arsenic contamination affects nearly 35 million people in the country. Additionally, I found some interesting information that came out of the World Health Organization. Perhaps the most interesting quote I found was that the levels of arsenic have contributed to the largest mass poisoning in history. And that was a quote that they put out directly speaking about the situation that's going on in Bangladesh. Still, there is added concern about the source of water, as the neighboring countries from which Bangladesh's rivers originate are threatening to block freshwater sources from reaching the Bangladeshi population. The examples listed here include a river bypass system in India and a large hydroelectric dam in China. Naturally, this puts further reliance on the already dwindling groundwater sources. However, with reduced flows that are already occurring on the Ganges, Bangladesh is already experiencing increased salinity levels near the sea, which once again limits their access to potable water, and this also is hurting their crop ground. During then those months when Bangladesh does have ample water supply, there's often too much water coming down at once from all the monsoons. Naturally, with floodwaters submerging cities and shantytowns, this leads to the spread of many pollutants and diseases. Among the common diseases that are plaguing the area, as reported by the CIA World Factbook, are bacterial and protozoal diarrhea, hepatitis A and E, typhoid fever, dengue fever and malaria, and leptospirosis. As polluted waters or water scarcity can ultimately lead to life and death situations, there are a number of potential outcomes to this crisis. Mainly looking at the issues concerning the dry season problems then, we look at the situation with China and India and restricting water flow to the Bangladesh river system. And these are likely to tax the country, and there are already limited groundwater capacity. And this is likely a situation that's going to get worse, especially with India talking about diverting more water to go to their crop grounds, And this is also going to be amplified by the population in Bangladesh that continues to grow. For improvements to be made on this situation, agreements will need to be made with China and India so that they might be able to maintain some of the water flows that are being released to the Bangladeshi people. Concerning the issues then surrounding the monsoon season, there will be need to be improvements made to the drainage and water purification systems so that populations can be protected from floodwater and also so that they can be protected from the arsenic that's in the groundwater sources. However, these improvements are bound to be unlikely as Bangladesh is a quite poor country with a poor economic condition. So getting those improvements made is not very likely. This concludes my presentation on the Bangladesh water crisis. I'd like to thank you for watching, and for those who are interested in the material I presented here, I have listed my sources. Thank you.